In 2021, there was a survey taken, and 40% of the student body did say that they felt a persistent amount of sadness and hopelessness, and 20% of the student body did say that they had considered suicide. Hi, my name is Justin Prentice, and today I'm going to be talking about why mental health and mental health education needs to be provided in elementary through high school ages. I'm going to be talking about many things today. I'm going to be talking about coping mechanisms, why they're important, what types of coping mechanisms there are, how they benefit. I'm also going to be talking about how, with these coping mechanisms and the education, that there's going to be prevention of crises among themselves and others. I will be also talking about how there's a stigma around mental health in the United States and how there needs to be a reduction of that. And if we do educate children, there will be a reduction of that. I'm also going to talk about how it supports overall mental health, or overall health besides just the mental health aspect of it. To start, mental health crisis. There's a mental health crisis growing in the youth of our nation. The CDC did report that there is an increasing rate of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. This was found in the article Mental Health of Children by the CDC. It does explain how that there is a huge impact on the children in their school and personal lives. Oftentimes they miss school. They are acting out both at home and in school. They're seen as they struggle also. They might be struggling with many parts of life, but especially school in their academics. They will also be shutting down a lot. Like they won't, things might overwhelm them faster. It might seem like they're giving up easier. And the CDC says that this is alarming and this needs to be changed. Now, again, one of the best ways to change that is to start educating about mental health in younger age groups. I'm going to explain why the mental health education works. When you educate students about coping mechanisms and education on the subject itself, they'll be able to manage stress, emotions, and tough situations more easily. And everyone has all of these, of course, but it will, if they aren't taught it, it's hard for them to manage these. I'm going to go over some examples of coping mechanisms. There's journaling, there's breathing exercises, there's exercising, of course, that's another type of mechanism, but there's a bunch of others as well. They're all great, and they have different benefits for different people for different things. Also, these coping mechanisms will be good beyond just the school and the academic part of it and, them presenting themselves in school. It will also relate into jobs, future in their life, their adult life in general, as adults do face stress, tough situations, and emotions just like everyone else, and relationships. All this information was seen in the article, The Impact of School-Based Mental Health. This was written by the group National Alliance of Mental Health Education. But with this, there is a proven in their article as well that academics increase. This is in a lot of things. It's in attendance. It's in lower disruption of classes, less issues between students and students, less issues between students and teachers, and that there is actually a sign of increase of test scores and other markers of academics. And again, I did talk about the prevention. When people know what mental health issues are, they're educated on how to stop them or how to help with them, and they're educated on how to identify them. It's going to prevent crises, both in themselves when they realize that they are becoming to a point where they need help, and also when others see their peers doing the same exact thing. The next part that I'm going to be talking about is the stigma of mental health in the United States. So there's a black cloud around mental health in general in the United States, and many people believe that mental health and mental illness should only be talked about as if there is an issue. Like if they should only reach out to people or talk about it or know about it if they do have an issue or they know somebody who has an issue. But that's not true. Everyone has mental health. Everyone has mental health illnesses. And this needs to be changed in our country. It has to be a normalized conversation, as they do quote in the article. This is by Mental Health Sigma by Brian Haldy. I hope I got that. I'm sorry if I didn't. But he does explain that a lot of people do have this misconception that they should only talk about it then, which is not true. Again, everyone has mental health. Everyone needs to take care of it. And he also talks about how, again, there's a culture, there's a stigma around it where you shouldn't be talking about it. But if people do talk about it more and more, there's going to be a culture shift where it's not as much of a, such a taboo subject. It'll be a more talked about subject. Everyone will understand it better. And again, the more people who know about it, more people who are educated about it, the better. I'm also going to be talking about the issues that could arise, or that people do say if you are to be educating students about these mental health issues. A big one, of course, with anything in life is money. They do say that there is sometimes funding issues. And of course, that is not an excuse, though. The community themselves, the parents, and the schools should raise money to help start programs, start education, start events, anything that could help, again, with the stigma and all this unnecessary increase in mental health illness of children. There is also issues with the education part of it. Staffing, there's not enough staff. There isn't staff who is trained on it. And again, this is where schools and parents and the communities should all come together and have people who are professionals start stepping in more. Again, people might say this is a funding issue, maybe for compensation and everything, but there is a huge emphasis in the articles, what is mental health, and how evidence towards new definitions of what mental health is in multidisciplinary and multi-countries by Lori Maxwell. She explained that even though these are all issues, they are valid issues, that shouldn't stop the communities, the families, and the people to try and raise the money or figure out how to do this. And again, they did also explain how that there is an issue sometimes with, you have to make now more lesson plans, new educational things for these children. And again, shouldn't be an issue. It's time consuming. It might be difficult, but it needs to be done, as again, there's such an alarming rate of mental health problems with the children. As I said before, there's real world impact, and there's proof of how this works. There was both a study by the group, by the Lori Manuel, What is Mental Health? Evidence on a new definition in the multidisciplinary and multi-country. I'm sorry if I butchered that article name as well. But there's statistics in there and statistics in the CDC where they did explain that, again, if all of these there's programs right now that show evidence that they have reduced anxiety among the children. There's better test scores. There's better attendance in school. And again, that is the important part. These kids are needing to attend school. They have to attend school to obtain their education. So if they're unable to do that, you have to provide ways to help them do that. So there is many programs that are out there, and there's even online. And in that article, they did talk about how people should use other resources, get creative. Come reach out to other programs where you will just you'll have to use some online programs depending on the situation, and you should be able to do that, and you should want to do that. So I'm going to quickly go over what I talked about in this speech. What I'm going to get as the main topic is teaching about mental health is essential, and it cannot be put on the back burner anymore. It saves lives. It improves education. It improves their academics. Improves their learning, and it helps build stronger people later on down in life, as they'll be able to handle all these situations. Again, we can't sit on this situation anymore. I went over many things in this in the speech, including coping mechanisms, the rising issues with children and their mental health, why there's a stigma, how we can prevent the stigma, how there's with the education on that it helps with crises as long also with knowing about it. Again, this starts in the classroom, and the only way that it starts is if we do it. So I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you guys have a great night.